jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son, actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
First in the building, Big Blunts and Boxing. The GOAT is on deck. Salute to your brother. What is good? WCS back with another one. Salute to the hottest chat in the MFN game. A-side, 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 A-side official. No negotiation needed. Best believe it. Tyrese is on deck. What's good? Mike is on deck. Mr. Golden, the OG, is on deck. One is on deck. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more on deck. What's good? Christopher is on deck. Shout out to everyone that pulled up today. It's funny how you be, you can sit up here and talk your shit about certain fighters. Nobody even care. You know what I'm saying? The ones who fuck with you, right? But yet, when you start to engage in another fighter, you know what I'm saying? These people need to understand you'll never predict what direction I'm going and how I actually, pay attention to other things other than topics that I choose to talk about. Naoya Inoue. He's been one of those fighters for quite some time that I've just always kept my eye on. You know what I'm saying? I've always paid attention to how he was moving, his travels. You know what I'm saying? And I just paid attention to who he actually fought. And I also pay attention to people's conversation when we talk about mainstream fighters, of notoriety and popularity, vice the fighters that people act like they give a damn about, but they really don't pay that close attention to. They really don't examine them under the microscope like they do these notable fighters. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. And Inoue is one of those fighters that can get away with everything. Inoue is one of those boxers who can go in here and perform. And he can perform good, he can perform bad. It don't matter. They still go, oh, he's the best. He's the best. But one thing that's hurting people's feelings, because I thought I was going to have to give out blood thinners yesterday when I was on here last night talking about Inoue, because they act like they trying to dictate who I'm supposed to talk about. If I'm talking about black fighters, it seemed to be cool with them. But if I start talking about non-black fighters, then people got a problem with it. See, they did the same thing when I was supporting Deontay Wilder, too. It was all good when I was talking about Deontay Wilder, right? Because that was an easy target. They was busy up here, supporting Tyson Fury when they really didn't fuck with Tyson Fury. They just didn't like Deontay. Well, Inoue, they want to go ahead and defend Inoue, right? But truth be told, they really couldn't tell you truly who's great on his resume. Who's great on his resume? More than one person. Who do you consider great on his resume up to this point? For him to be up there next to Crawford. Who? How many champions? I'm talking about full-blown champions has he beat? You know what I'm saying? that were great champions. You know what I'm saying? That was considered great. And that's always up for discussion and debate because people's like, well. Those of you that's on here last night or early this morning, you all kind of got a whiff of how that can go. YouTube has a distinct stigma where people try to bring you back to systemic racism. You know, they try to put you in a situation where they somehow low key want to give you permission on who you should talk to. If you're talking about the right people, they cool with it. If you're talking about what Inoue has not done in boxing, they get mad because he's Japanese, because it's not that many foreign fighters on the pound for pound list. That's what it's all about. It's not that many that they really give a damn about. How many Japanese fighters is on the pound for pound list? Okay. How many Japanese fighters is on the pound for pound list? What has Inoue done to break into the top pay-per-view numbers? We have fighters that's getting praised in other countries for doing high pay-per-views, which in no way, shape, or form come close to Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, you know what I'm saying, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez. They don't even come close. But we have spoiled, you know what I'm saying, temper tantrum throwing boxing fans over here in the US that want to always run and build up a crusade on these fighters who ain't really did nothing in boxing. They sit up here and break down and shred any type of dignity of these US fighters. They break them down to the last. I'm talking about they go all the way back to when they started. I mean, they scrutinize the shit out. They put them on the microscope and they zoom that motherfucker in. They keep on and keep on and keep on. They just keep on trying to find something that's wrong. It has to be a freaking birth defect in here. I understand it is. It has to be some type of virus. But when it comes to fighters like Inoue, people get mad because I said, are they drug testing over there? Okay. So there's some things I left out. There's some things I left out yesterday. The reason why I asked, because I spent so much time in Japan around combat sports, is the fact that I was over there during a period in the 90s where I know for a fact a lot of those organizations wasn't testing. I spoke to fighters over there that said they wasn't testing. Fighters that they end up several years later coming over here to the US to fight because those organizations were dissolved. I've been around the world, man. I've learned a lot and put in my catalog, and people, you know, they think, okay, you need all the numbers, but it's what you have up top. It's what's in your mental catalog. You know what I'm saying? I spoke to fighters, had conversations. I seen fighters that was their physique was way different fighting back then than it was before they came over to the States and was subjected to drug testing when it came out. When USADA finally hit, you know what I'm saying? When USADA finally hit, a lot was changing. These fighters had to get off the juice. But still, over there in Japan, there's still organizations over there that's pretty lenient, pretty loosely. Because one thing I know about Japanese promoters and those people that's over there that's putting on these fight cards is that their main concern is to have the highest value. You know what I'm saying? For the best reward. If the highest value mean fighters being, you know, on that juice, the Tropicana, then they're going to get the best results. I like their Warriors mentality though, because over here in the States, they believe that if a fighter is juicing, it gives them an extreme advantage over here when it comes to skills. No, this stuff does not teach you skills in combat. It doesn't teach you skills. You know what I'm saying? It just allows fighters to be able to work out harder. You know what I'm saying? Maybe take a little bit more punches than usual. You know, cut weight easier. You know, just a whole lot of other variables that assist these fighters. That's just the way it is. Japan's mentality is different than the US, man. They love freaking seeing maximum. They want you to maximize your freaking strength and ability. They want to see you go in there as warriors and fight it out. That's what they want. Over in the US, they busy worrying about believing that, well, per what I was told and what I think and what I assume is that, if you're on the Tropicana, then you're gonna be this incredible Hulk. You're gonna be this Marvel comic. You're gonna be someone that's immortal. No, that doesn't make you immortal. It's been people that get their ass kicked that's on juice. I mean, that's just a physical dependency. That's all. But when you're talking about learning the curriculum of combat, the remediation portion, that's totally up to you. That's totally up to you on what you're learning. And I just look at Inoue, and most of his fights, his big championship fights, was in Japan. I just had the question that people get upset about: are you clean? Have you been clean? They say that about Manny Pacquiao, and it's okay because Manny's, he's basically, at his age right now. But they even said the same thing about Manny Pacquiao. Of course, the Filipino freaking boxing nation, they felt some type of way about it, but they was like, okay, was he clean his whole career? It's been fighters like Adrian Broner come out and say, are we doing drug testing? When he went out there and fought Manny Pacquiao, are we doing drug testing? I haven't seen nobody come over here and drug test me. Are we doing drug testing? I try to tell people that drug testing is not an appointment that happens all the time. There's not protocol for every fight. Drug testing costs money. Not every promotion is paying money for drug testing. Not every fighter get tested for Tropicana, bro. Y'all need to get that through your noggin. Not every fighter is tested. Not every fighter is tested every time you go up to a fight. Not every fighter is tested, bro. Furthermore, you have to be at a certain point in the ranking systems for you to get that testing too. You can't take steroids and hit 700 home runs. It still takes skills. That's all I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Mark McGuire was doing what he was doing, right? And Mark McGuire was up here, and him and Barry Bonds was going neck and neck, right, with this home run record. So Mark McGuire got there first, and they celebrated the shit out of him. And I said, he's on some shit. Look how big his forearms is. Just look how consistent, he's hitting that ball out the park. And I had these baseball fans telling me, these white baseball fans telling me, no, you just mad because he's going for a record that a black home run hitter, black baseball player. No, I say, no, not at all. I mean, I don't know why that's the default. I say, obviously, you got to look at the history and the build up to now for Mark McGuire. And look what happened. They celebrated Mark McGuire, but when it came to Sammy Sosa, rather, when it came to Sammy Sosa, I believe he was going up against Sammy Sosa. He didn't get the same in return. You know what I'm saying? Even though he got caught cheating, Mark McGuire didn't get caught cheating. He hurried up and got out the sport. He saved himself the shame. You know what I'm saying? He got out of the sport knowing that he was on that Tropicana easy. And then Barry Bonds, he didn't get caught. You know what I'm saying? It's suspicion, but he wasn't caught. But still, he didn't get into the Hall of Fame. Anyway, back to the topic of boxing. People seem to think that you have to really question yourself, right? Really question yourself first. Is this the route you want to go to place these claims and accusations on a certain fighter because he has a lot of people that love him? Okay. So Naoya Inoue has a lot of people that love him in boxing. So with that love, you're basically showing him this unconditional connection, you know what I'm saying? This sense of loyalty when he ain't really did anything special. I look at how they was doing Vasyl Lomachenko. What did I say about Lomachenko? What has he done that was super special for people to be considering this guy to be in the conversation with Ali? And look what happened when he started stepping up. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you can't say that Lomachenko has one of the best records in boxing. His headlights was those 2 gold medals that he won in the Olympics. That was his headlights as he was freaking driving his way up through the freaking divisions in boxing. That was his headlights. Inoue, his comfort zone and his posturepedic moment is freaking being in a lighter weight class. You know what I'm saying? Where the competition is below average to average. And a lot of people don't pay attention to his division down there because they don't care. But this man is 3 division. Then he automatically get a shot after one of the weakest freaking undisputed runs at bantamweight. One of the weakest, bro. One of the weakest. You know what I'm saying? Paul Butler, how he got his title. Do your research. Who was clamoring? Well, who was great in that undisputed run? You know what I'm saying? Crawford, he picks up his belts. You know what I'm saying? Jamel picks up his belts. Canelo picks up his belts. But when you gauge who did he beat to get the belts, how they did it, it's always going to be criticism. But Paul Butler, you know what I'm saying? We want to give Maloney twins their credit just because they're tough twins in boxings. They're tough Australians. I like the Maloney brothers, but are they great? The only one that can be considered great in this era is Nonito Donaire. You know what I'm saying? Nonito Donaire is a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. But when he stepped in there and fought Inoue, he had like 6 or 7 losses, I think, already. He was on the back end of his career. They're getting mad at me because I'm saying what the same sentiments they use for argument for a lot of the common opponents that Errol Spence fought that Crawford couldn't get no damn credit for. I'm just saying. They were saying they over the hill. You know what I'm saying? They over the hill. They shot. They done. But yet, if you look at Donaire, he's older. People looking at him like, oh, he's a legend. He did what he's supposed to do. I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking him and what he was able to accomplish. You know, he stacked his divisions. But if you ask some of the people, you know, who did he beat in his first division to earn his championship? Who did he beat in his second division? They don't fucking know. They have no idea. All they know is right here, right now. Nonito Donaire. That's okay. Who else outside of Donaire on Inoue's freaking resume that puts him in the freaking constellation of stars? Who's up there shining and goddamn twitching and you know, just giving you that little twinkle? Who on this resume is giving you that twinkle as the greats would? It's not Stephen Fulton. It's not Paul Butler. It's not Maloney. It's not Donaire. Who? I just want to know because, you know, you have so many people enamored with looking at him on this pound for pound list all the time, and they have very little criticism for his resume. All they want to do, he's the monster. He's the monster. Shit, the real monster is Gervonta. Gervonta Davis is the real monster. No one's going to convince me that Inoue beats freaking Gervonta Davis if they was closer. No one convinces me of that. We're talking about his alias being the monster. But the monster is only the monster when majority of the time he's fighting his backyard, when he feels like, okay, it's much better for me to have this hometown cooking. Just like I said about Spence. Spence moved outside that Texas grid, and look what happened. No more Texas tea to sip on. He was a little bit dehydrated. Go in there and got stomped. And people want to say, oh, he was weight drained. No, he wasn't on that Texas tea no more. His whole physique told you the story. People don't want to speak on it because they feel like, you're being too abrasive. You're making these accusations. Listen, people, top tier athletes, they juice all the time, man. They drink the Tropicana all the time. You think you're going to be a top level athlete and have to train at that level without taking some type of supplement? That you know what did Tyson Fury say? Tyson Fury claimed that all the boxers were on the juice because he's on the juice. He was. Look at Jarrell Miller before he got popped for 16,000 freaking chemicals. This man was big as he was, and he was throwing that many punches and continued to throw punches when he was over 300 pounds in the late rounds. Who keeps up that output? And come and find out he was juicing. And not so much, it was so bad to the point where he understood it was bad. He understand there was something that was repercussions behind it. And he still continued to do it and got popped again. Why? Because he didn't have no discipline when he had to go ahead and do these 2-a-days. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he had to cut serious weight, but he had to keep his body in recovery and go to these sparring sessions and keep himself, keep that strong substitute because he didn't have any discipline with that fork. He had to use that backup plan to compensate for him having undisciplined type of habits with that fork. He was eating too much. So he thought the juice, hey, this is going to get me where I need to be to get back in the gym when I'm feeling lazy. For Inoue, you're looking at a guy who no one's going to convince me that people are going to be marveling about his undisputed run at bantamweight. They're not going to marvel at his undisputed run at super bantamweight. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, people. It's not fucking happening. I don't know why this guy is where he is next to Terrence Crawford on the pound for pound list. I don't know why he's ahead of Alexander Usyk. Usyk fought at Anthony Joshua, two-time, you know what I'm saying? Two-time heavyweight unified champion, right? He fought this man twice. He beat him twice, man. He got an Anthony Joshua on his record. Where's Anthony Joshua's on Inoue's record? Where's the Anthony Joshua on Inoue's record? Canelo Alvarez. Where's a Triple G on Inoue's record? Where's a Triple G at? Where's the Dimitri Bivol on his record? I just want to know, where are these names at on his record? Could I say, where's a Danny Jacob on Inoue's record? Where are these fighters? What can we throw on that Inoue's fault? You know what I'm saying? That some of these other fighters he's in front of on this pound for pound list. Dimitri Bivol. Where is Canelo on Inoue's record? Where do you have a Canelo? Do you have a Canelo? Do you have even a Gilberto Ramirez? Do you know Gilberto was undefeated at 168 prior to moving to 75? The man had over 40 professional wins. Where's Azerto on Inoue's record? Because Bivol's beat Canelo and Zerto and Bostic, didn't he? Or that was somebody else. Let me fact check myself before, because I don't know everything. I never proclaim to know everything. Let me fact check myself right quick, because we had some people in here, blood pressure high. I wanted to send them some blood thinners. I said, you better calm down. I wanted to send them some freaking treats. It's getting close to Halloween too. No, that was Joe Smith I was thinking about. Artur Beterbiev, I believe, was the one who beat Bostic, who just came back. Yeah. So I stand corrected. When you correct yourself, that means you're somewhere around in the area so you can check it out. You know what I'm saying? You can check it out. But does he have a Joe Smith on his record? That's all. Do he have a Joe Smith, man? And shout out to Joe Smith and Gilberto Ramirez. Damn good fight yesterday. Ooh, damn good fight. But does Inoue have a name like that on his resume? Somebody need to let me know. Why is he so high up on the pound for pound list? Now, I think it should be 5. I think he should be number 5, regardless of how many division he has. I think he should be 5. There's no way he should be in front of Canelo just because Canelo has 2 losses. Come on, man. Are y'all tripping? Come on. You can't fade Canelo out because he's freaking 33 years of age. Come on, get the fuck out of here. Come on, man. Do Inoue have a Floyd Mayweather on his record to be in front of Canelo Alvarez? No, the hell he don't. Does he have a Bivol? No, he does not. Does he have an Anthony Joshua? No, he doesn't, man. No, he doesn't. How in the hell is Inoue this high on the pound for pound list and people so comfortable with this shit? Like they're afraid to criticize this dude. Get the fuck out of here, man. You're doing yourself a disservice as a casual boxing fan, not calling this shit out the way it's supposed to be. Who is this dude? What is this dude done so special for him to be just campaigning at the top of the pound for pound list and they move Usyk out the way? All because Dubois hit him on a shot that looked like it knocked him down, right? But it didn't. It was supposed to be a low blow, but he still won the fight. And then they come up here and move, Usyk to keep Usyk in third, all because Inoue went over there and beat Stephen Fulton, who no one considers to be a great fighter. No one considers Stephen Fulton to be a great fighter. How can you move Inoue up off a Stephen Fulton win? How does that fucking work, man? That's bullshit. How does that work? How are you gonna make that shift? How can Canelo be moved up based off him defeating Charlo? Somebody explain that to me. Please, somebody explain that to me. How can Canelo be moved? How can Canelo be moved? Should Canelo be moved if he defeated the Charlo? If you saying no, then how can Inoue be moved based off his win over Fulton? What did he do that was so special to put him in front of Alexander Usyk? Who Usyk has Joshua on his resume twice. He defeated him for his title, and he defended his title. 2-time unified heavyweight champion. What did somebody explain that shit to me? I'm waiting. My ears are ready. People always trying to predict what route I'm gonna go and all that shit. I choose to speak about a certain fighter for a certain amount of times because I feel like it. But if you want me to, goddamn put Inoue in the hot grease, he can definitely get it because I don't know what he's done so special for his ass to hold that slot. And they put him in front of Alexander Usyk because they trying their best. They can't look. Alexander Usyk cannot do it with Crawford. Crawford legitimately beat somebody on the pound for pound list. You know what I'm saying? He's being the first. That's what got him in front of everybody else. But now they're trying their best to put Inoue up there because Crawford's an older fighter. They're trying their best to put him somewhere close to Crawford. They're trying their best to make it seem like he legitimately should be in front of Usyk, which that is not the case. He should be in front of Canelo. That ain't the case. He should be in front of Bivol. Come on, man. Do you have a Ramirez and a Canelo on your resume that you beat? It don't matter how many belts you got. We're talking about what have you done? If they're going to put him on the pound for pound list for beating Canelo Alvarez, guess what? Who has Inoue beat? That's a substantial notoriety and prestige. Who? Paul Butler? So you move him up off his undisputed run and bantamweight based off of Paul Butler completion? That did it for you? That sealed the deal? That consummated any doubt you had? Why is the Japanese fighter getting all this damn leeway and free tickets, all these comp tickets to the VIP session. Why does he get all these goddamn food vouchers? You know what I'm saying? This man can do no wrong. How often do you hear even the media criticizing Inoue? How often? But you hear everybody else get criticized. You hear Devin Haney, you hear everybody else get criticized. You know what I'm saying? Javante Davis criticized. Teofimo Lopez criticized. Vasil Lomachenko criticized. I still to this day don't know why Vasil Lomachenko is on the ring list, the ring pound for pound. I still don't know to this day. I still don't know to this day. Seriously, I just don't know. Shout out to Juice Lee, the snack dealer in the building. Salute to you, brother. That's what I'm saying, Juice. That's what I'm saying, Juice. Paul Butler got the title because Casemiro was going head up with freaking Team Donaire, and they had this big debacle. You know what I'm saying? This entire debacle that played out, and Casemiro's team felt like that Rachel Donaire shouldn't be speaking to them and doing what she was doing. You know, it was a whole big dramatics, you know, shit that was playing out on freaking online. Everybody who knows. And you know, that fight ended up falling out. You know, so at least he ended up, you know, getting that fight with freaking Nordine Bali that was over there just camping out like it was a freaking a summer trip or something, camping out in the WBC, you know, sanctioning body before they sent Donaire over there to pick up the title. Come on, man. Donaire defeated Nordine Bali, man, who picked up the title facing Rasheed Warren at the time for a vacant title back in the day. Man, nobody's gonna consider him to be great, man. I'm just saying, it's a farce, man. The way this dude ran that bantamweight undisputed, and people just say, "Oh, it's undisputed," though. No, it's not just undisputed, bro. It holds no weight, really. Out of all the ones, like if you look at Josh Taylor. If you look at Terrence Crawford, you look at Jamel Charlo, you look at Canelo Alvarez, right? Who did I miss? Anybody as of late? Anybody as of late? If you look at those right there, those undisputed title runs, where does Inoue come into the equation when you're ranking the quality of opponents? And I've criticized, you know, some of these, but the criticism don't run as deep as the facade of respect that is given to Inoue for his bantamweight undisputed run. I'm like, it's bullshit, dog. I mean, come on, man. Look at the names on that freaking undisputed, and you compare them to the names I just mentioned at 140, 147, 54, 68. Compare the names, man, to what Inoue has done. Compare the names, compare what the fighters were in the ranking system that was on the pound for pound. Just compare them. You know what I'm saying? Compare them to, yeah, they can be a champion, right? But who did they fight? Who was the high-ranking fighters on those champions' resumes prior to them stepping in there with Inoue? Who were they? Who did they fight? Were their opponents great to make them great? Because we definitely use that on U.S. fighters. We always ask, were their opposition, who did they fight? Oh, they didn't fight nobody. So if Crawford didn't fight nobody, Inoue definitely didn't fight nobody. He definitely ain't fought nobody. If y'all saying Crawford ain't fought nobody, he definitely didn't fight nobody then. They're going to give Canelo the pass because most of them guys he fought at super middleweight, people had a pretty good understanding of who they were, from Callum Smith to Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant. What's going on? Smoke Session Sports and Entertainment. Salute to you. What's good? Samar Warren on deck. I see you. Peace and blessings, beloved. Salute WCS Certified. Stamp the like button and support the grind. No doubt about it. Salute, brother. Crawford did tear Errol. He knew what he was doing and he needed to stop. I'm just processing what you put. I'm talking about Errol being on the pound for pound list as long as he was. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that he fought. He was on the pound for pound list. So people, fighters have been known to basically have a higher Wall Street at the end of the day, a higher stock value when they are fighting certain fighters on the pound for pound list. Now, if you look at the history of certain fighters that were able to fight their opposition for undisputed on the pound for pound list, it's not many. It's not many. You have the reflection, Teofimo Lopez, Vasil Lomachenko. You have that out there. When Juan Estrada fought Roman Gonzalez, for unification, Roman Gonzalez, Chocolatito wasn't on the pound for pound list like that. If you're talking about Dimitri Bivol fighting Canelo Alvarez was on the pound for pound list, but not Dimitri Bivol. You know what I'm saying? Alexander Usyk, when he came in here and fought AJ wasn't on the pound for pound list, but he was a well-known name. So when he beat AJ, what happened? They put him on the pound for pound list. When he came over here from the cruiserweight already undisputed, they gave him the benefit of the doubt to boost him up. They have this thing with Alexander Usyk and Vasil Lomachenko. It's this weird infatuation that the Ring magazine has with them. That's all. He shouldn't be on the pound for pound list at the end of the day. He's lost to Teofimo Lopez. They didn't take him off. It's just like that point in time where Gennady Golovkin was on the pound for pound list with no belts. And you're saying to yourself, okay, they're looking at the fact that Gennady only lost to who? Canelo Alvarez. I'm talking about that first time in the rematch that he lost. And then the fact that he was able to fight on, and then he lost again to Canelo in the trilogy, and they removed him. But not so much for Vasil Lomachenko. Lomachenko has lost to Teofimo Lopez on top of Orlando Salido, and he lost to Devin Haney. Why is he still on the pound for pound list? I don't know. But to get back to what I was saying, Inoue, who did he beat that was on the pound for pound list? Stephen Fulton wasn't on the pound for pound list when he beat him. Paul Butler sure enough wasn't on the pound for pound list. Jason Maloney wasn't on the pound for pound list. What did he do to sustain that? All because they held belts? Come on, listen to the hot grease, man. Just because they held belts, in a way, gets the super duper therapeutic exemption. Y'all may not respect it now, but watch what I tell you. He's gonna get this too. He's gonna become the second fighter to become undisputed in two-weight division. Absolutely, he is. He's gonna beat freaking Marlon Tapales. He's gonna beat him. But you all gonna see if he chooses to move up to 126, how shit is gonna play out different. Watch what I tell you, bro. He's gonna get the opportunity based off his undisputed at super bantamweight to move up to featherweight and get an immediate title shot. I'm not sweating none of that, but he's not gonna have an easy go up there with those guys, like people believe. When he has to bring his ass over here to the U.S. on the consistency and fight these championship fights, right, in Vegas or wherever he's planning on fighting, he's not gonna be able to go through the same routine he does when he's getting that home cooked meal over there in Japan. He's not going to be able to do it, bro. And people will say this. Look, these naysayers that was over here last night, they'll sit up here and say that shit about U.S. fighters all the time. Fighters that fight over here in the U.S. often. But they'll sit up here and try to defend as if cheating don't go on over there in Japan with combat sports. I was over there. Come on, man. Donaire is low-key more accomplished than Danny and AJ. Danny Danny who? Danny and AJ. Who are you talking about? Danny and AJ. What Danny are you talking about? Are you talking about Danny Garcia? It's not even close. I don't know why Danny would even pop up in that analogy. AJ, I've been critical of AJ. I said he was overrated. You know, I said I've been critical of AJ, but AJ he was 2-time unified heavyweight champion. He was, regardless of how he got it. Now, I said Donaire was everyone outside of Donaire. But Donaire at the time had multiple losses when he stepped in there with Inoue. How old is Inoue? How old is he? Inoue is young, right? Right? Inoue is a young guy, right? Inoue is a young fighter, man. Nonito Donaire is like 40 years old, I believe, right? It's funny how, once again, the argument, well, Inoue is 30 years old. I mean, a decade, youthfully, a decade younger than freaking Nonito right now. Nonito, if they still have his age up here, let me see. He's 40 years old, a 10-year gap. But when it comes to every other fighter, you know what I'm saying, that's over here going against more names that the fight fans can relate to. They can really participate in this discussion because they know these names. They've seen them fight. They have a familiarity with them, okay? They'll say, oh, man, so-and-so's too old. What were they saying? What were they saying? They say it. They do it all the time, man. They was doing it all the time. They was up here criticizing Floyd Mayweather for aging Manny Pacquiao out when he was older than Manny Pacquiao. Come on, bro. Come on. Y'all have to stop that. Y'all have to stop that. And then they were saying that Sean Porter was on his way to retirement, this, that, and the other, like he was old. Man, come on, bro. But yet, you know, Crawford's 36 right now. He just had a birthday. You know what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder, he was up in age, but when it came to him fighting Fury, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole different demeanor about it. They pick and choose who they wants to throw in there with age and who they don't. They pick and choose who they want to age out. They want to use the age out freaking stamp, and the ones they don't. Donaire is considered one of the greats. Okay, he has 8 losses at the time, but when he went in there, he has 7 losses. He is considered one of the greats. He did what he had to do, but it's a lot of people can't tell you who he beat. How are they going to say he was in his prime, so to speak, when he went in there and fought Inoue and was stopped in the second round? Was he in his prime based off his last performance when he was in there? Is that his prime? Is that considered his prime, though? If you're not going to say that was his prime when he stepped in there and attempt to unify the division with his WBC title, then that's up for discussion. Was Nonito great? Was he in prime? Was he still considered great, you know, in his prime when he fought Inoue? No. Hell no. Donaire is it's not the point of if he tested positive. That's what the home cooking stands for those of you that go to fights. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to test positive to be on something. You don't have to. It can just be in your hometown where those of you that go to fights like myself, they understand that every fighter is not tested. If a fighter get the word, yeah, they're not going to be tested during this fight, then what's the purpose of asking me, has he tested positive? I'm telling you, every fight does not have drug testing like that. People are not spending money all the time testing every fighter on the fight card. It don't happen. Believe me, the shit don't happen. You just don't have every fight on the fight card getting tested. Yeah, I mean, you need to furthermore educate yourself on how things work. It's a lot that you can learn being on deck. There's a lot of corners that's being cut sometime. There's a lot of um concessions, so to speak, are made with different promotions. It don't matter if he's tested. He's only fought 3 times, and none of those times, 3 times he fought in the US were big fights, really. Yeah, he might have fought at the Vegas or whatever. That's talking about his big fights. You know what I'm saying? He's fought 21 times in his career in Japan. 21. 3 of those in the US, 1 in the UK. Oh, he's just doing it for his country, though. I get it. I get it. Larry Lopez, what's good? I'm just saying that you get him top 3 pound for pound, then you got to look at Alexander Usyk and Canelo Alvarez. If you're giving him, a top 3 pound for pound, where's the Anthony Joshua on? Where's the Anthony Joshua on his resume, man? Anthony Joshua's been in there with some hitters. Real talk. He's been in there with some hitters now. He's been in there with some hitters. I'll give him that. He's been in there with some hitters, man. You think Inoue's resume is better than AJ's? Do you think Inoue's record, his resume is better than AJ's? Not even freaking close. Just because he's freaking unifying divisions. Okay, are we talking about quality? Real talk. Are we talking about quality, bro? We have to dial this in. Are we talking about quality? Are we talking about using the same statistics that we're sitting up here using these boxing debates all the time and bringing in this criteria? Are we talking about statistics? Are we talking about quality of opposition? There's no way that you have him top 3 based off quality of opposition, man. When you fight a fighter that has fought people, that has a big names on his resume too, that increases the Wall Street of that fighter, like Alexander Usyk, who came over here undisputed and fought Joshua twice. You know what I'm saying? Forget the Chase Witherspoon and Derek Chisora. He fought the freaking Anthony Joshua twice, bro. He beat him and defended his title. Who else are you gonna get? You saying he got a better resume than Canelo, Juice? You put him top 3 for what? Stephen Fulton? Top 3? You put his resume above Terrence Crawford? So he's beat more world champions than Crawford? He's had more lineal titles than Crawford? Y'all just up here playing. Y'all playing because it's a Sunday. I get it. Y'all just playing around. Because it's a Sunday. I know. I used to do that shit too. Pure dominance over who, Blunts? Pure dominance over who? Great fighters? Would you consider the fighters that he dominated equal to greater? Isn't that the argument they use with Roy Jones? We don't think Roy Jones fought equal to greater fighters than he himself. Was they considered equal to greater? Did someone consider Paul Butler equal to greater? Did they consider Jason Malone equal to greater? Did they consider Nonito Donaire at the time he fought Inoue equal or greater? Did they? Jaime McDonald, did they consider him to be equal or greater? Did they consider Stephen Fulton to be equal or greater? If you're not doing the greater part for all of them, what does the dominance come into play? Where's his dominance? Oh, man, he was dominance. Pure dominance. Pure, utter dominance. I mean, like, come on, man. Come on now. I'm not going at the wrong people. How am I going at the wrong people? If a person is on the list, they're subject to be discussed. You know what I'm saying? You're off. You're off. I'm saying you're off the path, the common path. You know what I'm saying? And talking about I should go at the people that make the list. I'm talking about Inoue. Period. I'm talking about him. The Ring Magazine is not the only list that he's up and you know where he's at. It's not the only list. I'm not just talking about the Ring. I'm talking about various lists on how people believe that he does no wrong. You know, every time juicing come up or Pez, people act like it don't exist. Why? Because you're unwilling to speak on it. You're too fearful of speaking about what goes on in sport because you really haven't frequent these fights. You don't know. You don't converse with people behind the scenes. You don't know how the system work. You don't. A lot of you is just being from the outside looking in. You don't go to fucking fights. You think you know everything from just tuning in from a distance. No, you have to go to these fights to see how things work, to see if the protocols are really in place all the time. If there is truly a SOP, a standard operating procedures that are in place that you have seen 10 times consistently go on at these big fight cards that you can say without a shadow of a doubt, this is A, B, C, D. They go right by the book every single time a fight card is put in place. That's not the case at all. That's not the case. Name another fighter who done what Inoue did current. I don't have to. I never said anything about secondary titles. I'm talking about who he fought. You're talking about name. You name them. I know people are easily saying, oh, name that. No, you name them. If you feel that I haven't named them and I should be naming them, educate me then. That's all I'm saying. With all respect, Larry, you name them. Don't ask me to do your work. If you feel like I'm saying something that's off the mark with Inoue, and you feel like, oh, name another fighter that's did with Inoue in the current era. Okay, you name one who has done them. You name it. If you're saying Inoue, no one has matched that, do your due diligence to go out here and make sure that you're on point with no other fighter doing what he's doing. You just talking about belts now, right? You're saying no secondary titles. But let me tell you this about secondary titles. When boxing say a title is a world title, we're not talking about intercontinental. We're not talking about the NABO. We're not talking about freaking titles that you need to earn to get to a certain spot in a sanctioning body. We're not talking about that. A Reggie belt is a world title. Whether people want to recognize as such, blame the other people for having all these titles that saturate the sport and fighters being able to fight for them, right, with a paycheck, and they win and they become a world champion. That's not where I'm at with it. I'm not talking about the quality of his titles. Have y'all been listening? Have I been talking about the quality of his titles? I'm saying the quality of opposition. Does the quality opposition, is that standard operating procedure for everybody on the pound for pound list when it comes to quality opposition, or who they fought to get on the pound for pound list? How did Devin Haney get on the pound for pound list? Does Inoue have a Vasyl Lomachenko? Does he have a Vasyl Lomachenko? Does he have a George Kambosos? Does he have any fighter that had all the titles at one time? Does Inoue have that on his resume? Did he ever fight a fighter who had all the titles at one time? Quality of opposition. All the titles. Did he beat that fighter and then defend those same titles against that same opponent? Did he go up here and fight another fighter in Lomachenko who's been campaigning on the pound for pound list for quite some time? Did he do that? Does he have somebody on his resume that's been on the pound for pound list that long? That's all I'm asking. Like, does he or does he not? Inoue has a complexion for the protection. I give him credit for Schoolboy Nonito, but they ain't enough to be in the top 5 for me. That's all I'm saying, Samad, man. Is it that difficult? Look, I look at it like this, Samad. Why are they so easily here to band together in the protection committee to go out here and defend? I'm talking about defend by all means necessary in a way. But when it comes to all these, a lot of these other fighters that's been fighting and who's been here, in the U.S. fighting, and they can't get the VIP treatment. They can't just go from this, that, and the other and fighting champions after champ. It's not happening in recession. It's not happening repeatedly. But the criticism these U.S. fighters go through, they act like that criticism is off limits to Inoue. They don't want you talking about Inoue because, oh man, I don't know the Japanese culture, but it's something that fancies me about it. Oh yeah, man, come on, get out of here, bro. Kick rocks. I've been over to Japan. I've been there on the scene when it was still in the olden days in the 90s. I've been there. I used to go back and forth to the Philippines. I went to Australia. I've been to all those places, man. I seen the fight scene over there when them boys was juice. They had that shit dripping out their ears over there before the organizations was. Man, I seen all that shit, bro. Inoue got potential to be the next Manny Pac. He got the calves and the legs, just like Manny. Hopefully, he moves up past 126. I want to see where he stands up, meeting his resistance. So he's at 4 right now. So you feel that Inoue has the opportunity to basically 26, which would be his 5th division, 30. His 6th division, 35, his 7th division, and 40, his 8th division, to pick up a championship belt at 30 years old. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Because in order for him to move like that and get those championship belts, he got to continue to win, and he has to continue to get moved accordingly to get these championship fights. We'll see. Because, we all know that Manny Pacquiao has several losses. So I plan on Inoue sometime in the road taking that L. And that's no knock on him. I'm not wanting him to take no L. I'm just saying when people compare Inoue to certain greats in history, I mean, his resume is not all that. I mean, it's almost like you look at how many foreign fighters are on the freaking pound for pound list. You have Dmitry Bivol. He just got on there. But Vasyl Lomachenko, truth be told, man, Vasyl is different when it comes down. He came into the sport. They tried to get this man. They did get this man a championship fight on the second pro fight. He was different. He wasn't your average fighter. But we're talking about Japanese fighters, Chinese fighters, Asian fighters in general. There's been some Filipino fighters on there for sure. But what keeps Inoue levitating in those top positions? What has he done to be that close to Crawford as a recent? What has he done to be in front of Alexander Usyk and Canelo Alvarez? What? I can see Errol Spence, definitely. I can see him being in front of, but what else? Do he have a Canelo on his record? I mean, come on, bro. I just don't see it. I believe Bud is pound for pound number 1 was saying the guy accomplished good things. Full division champ, Ali Trophy, undisputed. He beat the champs. It's okay to disagree. I was saying the guy accomplishing good things. If y'all are talking, right, I mean, put some names to that, man. I'm going from comment to comment. Put some names to it. I cannot sit up here and try to decipher the guy and this guy and that guy. You know what I'm saying? Just put some names to it, man. Make it easier for me so I won't skip over your comment. Just a different in opinion. No, man, this type of health and normal. We ain't gonna always agree. Listen, that shit last night. Look, people have to understand that I say I don't want people in my chat that agree with me on everything, but yet I'm definitely not gonna damn dip your ass. Don't think I'm not gonna dip your ass in the hot grease when it comes down to you trying to say, well, let me compare your argument to black fighters only. Like I'm a black content creator, so the only way that you can freaking debate or get evidence, you know what I'm saying, for your argument is basically attach and attempt to debunk my argument up against black fighters and what they haven't been able to accomplish or what they have been able to accomplish. No, you have to have a more wider sense of thinking when it comes to this boxing shit. You know, your scope of your perimeter, so to speak. You have to think way out of boxers who no longer active. You have to really, put yourself in that category. Just not boxers who you're familiar with at the time. To say, hey, I want to compare and freaking argue the point with you based off strictly with black fighters as if you're doing me a disservice. You're not doing me a disservice. You're doing yourself that because you should be able to find other fighters, if any, that you can use to prove your argument. That's all. People telling me I'm just mad and all. Man, come on. You haven't been over here long enough. You haven't been listening long enough. And if you were listening, you weren't paying attention. Hey, you're saying over here you avidly defended Terrence has nothing to do with what you was doing last night. You was up here. If you're going to defend Inoue, don't bring Terrence into the question and say, I'm just mad because of this with Terrence. I'm just this. I'm just that. I don't have time to be playing those little childish ass games. If you're going to bring up an argument as to what I said about Inoue, and you're going to use Terrence Crawford as the right side of your debate, why are you bringing him into the equation? Don't make it a like thing. If I'm not using the like thing, if I'm not telling you I like Terrence Crawford more than Inoue, if I'm keeping it strictly on boxing and telling you what I feel about Inoue, do the same. Whoever you bring into the conversation, do the same. That's all I'm asking. Don't come over here and try to say, "Oh man, you saying this about Terrence, but Inoue can't." No, I don't like that. That's childish ass shit right there. You know what I'm saying? That's childish. That's juvenile shit. You're not really focusing on what I'm saying about Inoue, and you're not really digging a little bit deeper than you could. Instead of just bringing up the closest thing that pops to your mind based off what I talk about or what I've spoken about previously on Terrence Crawford and certain fighters that I faced. People try to assume he's that close to Terrence on one list. Let me do one better. Hold up. Let me do one better. All right. Let me get the rest of these comments. D Young on deck. What's good? He said 126 would be competitive for Inoue. No doubt. I agree. And that's the point I was making. When he get to 26, it's going to be very competitive, depending on who's there. Depending on who's there, man. Depending on who's there. That's all I'm saying. How can Stephen Fulton be Inoue's biggest win? How can he be his biggest win? How? You talking about biggest win in resume, biggest win in bantamweight, biggest win where? Explain. Biggest win where, bro? Nobody's above criticism, but Inoue fighting the best available fighters. That's what separates him from the rest. Okay, so why we didn't say that about Crawford? Why we don't say that about Canelo? They say Canelo's a cherry picker, right? Is he fighting the best fighters? People don't think so. People don't think so. But they still say he's fighting the best fighters because he's Canelo and he's fighting them. That's what they. Jermell Charlo, he fought the best fighters, right? Do people really show ultimate love to Josh Taylor for beating Jose Ramirez just because he had a unified championship for Undisputed? He's still on the 4-belt era pound for pound list, right? So you're talking about fighters that's in a 4-belt era pound for pound list. Where do you rank Inoue's freaking Undisputed versus all the other guys on the pound for pound list? Not pound for pound list, my bad. On the 4-belt era Undisputed list. What do you rank? Where do you rank those names? Those fighters based off who the fighters that he fought and who they beat that was of significance. That's the key word, of significance. What do you rank him? Do you rank him up there in the top 2 of the fighters of the 4-belt era of Undisputed? Do you rank Inoue up there like you do him on the pound for pound list? Do you rank him at the top of those names that's in the 4-belt era of Undisputed fighters who's won the belts in the Undisputed era, the 4-belt era? Do you rank him top 2? Anybody out there that's alive, if you choose to do a live on that, do you rank Inoue at the top 2 of the fighters that's on the list as undisputed world champions in the 4-belt era? Where do you rank Inoue's opposition? Where did you rank Stephen Fulton when he fought Angelo Leo? Angelo Leo didn't put him on the pound for pound list. What about Brandon Figueroa? That didn't put Fulton on the pound for pound list. So why, people would say, well, he fought the top guys and he's knocking them down, dragging them out. I mean, I know it's difficult, bro. I know. I know, man. Domo arigato gozaimasu. Yes, that's what y'all saying. Thank you very much. Domo arigato gozaimasu. All I'm saying, that's all I'm saying, D. Like, I know the lower weight class people saying, like last night, somebody said, it's not that many Americans that's fighting at the lower weight class. What does that got to do with them fighting in the U.S., though? What does that got to do? Like, every foreign fighter is not signed to a promotion over here in the U.S. Like, they can't fight. Come on, man. Comes a time when Inoue's going to have to come to the U.S. Okay, Juice. So if you're saying you have to fight who's in front of you, right? Okay, I get it. I understand that. Bingo. You're fighting who's in front of you. So if the fighters that in front of you, I'm talking about framed and everything, they have the hardware you're looking for, y'all signed in to fight, everything's complete, the ink is dried, all that shit. Is that enough when it comes to the boxing debates for that fighter just to be in front of you and you fight them for you to get total recognition there, Juice? I'm talking about max. I'm talking about at the hierarchy of all hierarchies, just because they held the belt. Is that enough doing these boxing debates for you to really calibrate it in and say, you know what, so-and-so is great because he had all these titles, but who was the people that he beat again? That's always going to be the draw. You always going to be drawn into who the people that he got the championship belt from, who did they beat? You have conversations on this shit like, does belts really matter? Okay, if so-and-so's picked up the belt, who did he beat to get the belt? But then we going back and you're saying you're fighting, he's fighting who's in front of him. So is that the same freaking lock that we put on the US fighters? They're just fighting who's available. And we check the box, boom. They just fighting who's available. So-and-so had the belt at the time, just fighting who's available. No, it's like, yeah, he beat so-and-so, but who's that? Julius Ndongo had a belt or two. He was unified, right? That was who's in front of Crawford, right? It didn't matter. Billy Joe Sanders, he had a belt, right? Didn't he? He had that WBO strap, right? He was fighting who's in front of him. But do people give Canelo credit based off Billy Joe Sanders? Nah, he had a belt though. Do they really praise Brian Castano? No, but he had a belt though. He was in front of Charlo. It took him 2 times to do it, but he had a belt. Man, it goes way beyond this. You got to fight who's in front of you. Yeah, if you fight who's in front of you, you beat him. Still, when it comes to comparing you to the greats, just because you beat who's in front of you, does it really truly matter when the conversation is started on how great that person truly was? When we talk about the old school, the OGs, man, the ones who did it before, you go to their resume, them mother, hey, they fought that person, that person, that person, that person. I mean, right out the box, you get 3 or 4 significant golden jewels of names that they fought to say, damn, that was some good names right there. That was some quality fights. But in a way, who are you saying that shit? Are you gloating over Paul Butler, Jason Maloney? Are you gloating over the freaking championship fight he had with Nonito Donaire? Are you gloating over that shit? Are you goddamn getting your energy level up? Are you really testing and say, damn, I feel a little dizzy, nigga? This shit was intense. When he fought Stephen Fulton, oh my God, Stephen was a killer. What's going on, Samuel? Salute to you. I see you in the building. What's going on, Mick on deck? He said it's not a top 3, but makes the top 10 over AJ. Fulton is good as a win, and he dominated. I look, once again, y'all are things that I know for myself. Telling me he dominated Scooter Juice. Come on, man. Come on, we having a conversation. I'm not feeling no type of way, man. It's respect. You know what I'm saying? But Juice, what does him dominating Scooter has to do with anything? Did you consider Scooter to be this unbeatable fighter? Did you consider him to be that guy? Did you consider him to go in there and say Monster didn't have a chance? Did you think he was going to tame the Monster? Did you believe he was going to tame the Monster, though? Did you think that he had a golden ticket to go in there and tame the Monster going over to Japan after the fight was being delayed, to go all the way across in Japan to fight Inoue? Did anybody believe? I thought I was pulling for Stephen Fulton. I'll be honest, I was pulling for Fulton. But did anyone think that Monster didn't have a chance moving up to the weight division? Did people look at Fulton as a Jeff Horn when Crawford moved up to fight him his first fight at welterweight? You know what I'm saying? Did when Inoue moved up to fight Fulton, did they look at Fulton as a Jeff Horn? Did they consider Brandon Figueroa to be the Pacquiao who went in there and had a hard go with Jeff Horn and lost? Did they figure Stephen Fulton was that guy? Jeff Horn had a Pacquiao on his damn hit list. He had the belt. Who did Stephen Fulton have for us to just say, man, Munster's gonna have a real tough problem? I don't see him beating Fulton, man, off Brandon Figueroa and Angelo Leo. And shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. Appreciate y'all for not being clowns and agreeing to everything that I talk about and having your own sense of intelligence when it comes to this boxing shit. I'm not talking about the ones who just dropping in the strays, is coming over here just to argue. I'm talking about the ones I know. Fulton is a good ass win. I believe part of the pound for pound status is because of moving up weight divisions. ESPN loves him, bro. Inoue is great, but they talk about him like he's TBE. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that. But this is another one to prove my point. So Samuel just mentioned that ESPN loves him. So if I go to the ESPN pound for pound list, Canelo is number 1, Terrence is number 2, and Inoue is number 3. Errol Spence is number 4. Teofimo, okay, I'm just stopping at 5. Like I said earlier with this ring, why is Inoue ahead of Canelo Alvarez? Why? Why is he ahead of Canelo Alvarez of all people? There's no way in hell he has done his resume come even remotely in the proximity of sniffing greatness when it comes to Canelo's resume. Period. It doesn't even come close to him being close to Crawford at the end of the day. Because no one's going to say, well, he went up there and beat Paul Butler. That was an Errol Spence. Paul Butler went on the pound for pound list, man. Nobody was looking for this dude, nor does his resume to get to that point. No. He just lucky that Casemiro ran into some issues and he was able to step in and freaking pick up that WBO title. That's all. Come on, man. Come on now. You gonna try to tell me he should be in front of Alexander Usyk and Canelo Alvarez? That's the ESPN pound for pound list now. They have Canelo Alvarez 1, Terrence Crawford 2, and Inoue 3. Okay, Blunts. I guess Blunt's coming over here with an inner tube that's grease. That's basically what's the word I'm looking for? Hot grease proof. I guess you got one of them shits that don't goddamn burn up and melt under the extreme heat conditions. He said 25 wins and 22 knockouts sound like dominance, just like Bud. All KOs, TKOs, no close fights, no draws, no split decisions, majority. Hopefully he stays dominant. So you're saying that his resume comparable to Bud. You're saying his resume is comparable. Jaime McDonald compares to Ricky Burns. Is that what you're saying? A multi-time world champion, Jaime McDonald compares to Ricky Burns. And also, you're talking about 25 wins and 22 knockouts sound like dominance. Well, we're talking about numbers. Does Boots wins and what his knockouts, do you compare him? I see you didn't put Boots in there. If you're talking about numbers, put numbers in there. Don't forget Boots now. If we're talking about numbers, look like dominance to you. Don't forget to put Boots in there now. If you're talking about high numbers. If we're talking about the eye test, what looks good. You got to put Jaron Ennis in there now. 31-0, 28 knockouts. That look good, right, Blunts? 31-0, 28 knockouts. Look like dominance to me. 26 years old. Look like dominance to me. And we talking about numbers, right? You said dominance. dominance. You said 25 win, 22 knockouts. I'm telling you, does that gives you the warm and fuzzy. 31-0, 28 knockouts. Since we're going off what looks like dominance. You saying blunts exactly. I'm excited to see what looks like dominance, right? So why don't all the other US fighters get that look like dominance to me? While we continue to critique them. What looked like dominance. Boots has 28 knockouts, man. 28 knockouts. This man has no losses, no draws there, Blunts. Juice, no draws, no losses. Does it look like dominance? I'm just saying. Let's bring in all the fighters that look like dominance and don't have split decisions and don't have, majority decisions. If that's looking like dominance, forget about it. We're going strictly off the goddamn numeric display that's on their boxing ledger. It looks like dominance now. Hey, it looks like dominance. Okay. Hey, man, shout it. You good, man. Your shit look like dominance, bro. I see you, bro. I see you, big dog. Your shit look good, dog. You got them numbers up there, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, dog. You got them look like dominance yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You looking like dominance, dog. I appreciate you, Mike. You're looking like dominance. I'm gonna put on the thumbnail. Looking like dominance. You know what I'm saying? The new grading scale of boxing. Looking like dominance. I wonder, can I call up the Hall of Fame and say if one of your points of reference for the criteria to get a fight in the Hall of Fame is looking like dominance? Hey, fighters, you don't have to work too hard now. All you got to do is continue to build up your record and get that high number, 52-0 with 48 knockouts. Looking like dominance to me. That looks like motherfucking dominance, dog. He beat the champs. They said the same about Bud's opposition because they didn't know who they were. How do you didn't know who they were? You didn't know who Victor Poster was? Come on, stop the cap. People know who Ricky Burns was. How do you didn't know who he was fighting? You knew who Jeff Horn was because the fight with Manny Pacquiao, you knew who he was. You knew who he was. People knew who Julius Ndongo was. Just because the new age, the new era is basically refuting or denying his presence, denying his identity, doesn't mean no one knew who he was. They knew who Julius Ndongo was. He was undefeated when he fought Crawford. He was undefeated. They knew who Gamboa was because they still freaking talk about him. They knew who the hitters was back then. It's just when they finish getting beat up by Crawford, people want to act like they didn't know him. They want to act like they didn't know the fighters who he was fighting. Just because you want to use that as a sense of argument because, they were saying same thing about, doesn't mean everybody who's saying and have that same behavior mannerism ain't wrong. Maybe they're only doing surface layer research. Maybe they're not really putting on the scuba gear and diving deep and trying to find out what lies beneath. Okay, this is what I didn't see on the surface. Okay, let me bring this up. Let me buoy this up to the surface and do a little bit more research while I got time. Just because they're saying that's what they said. Who is they? Are you talking about the fans who support him or the ones that don't? Who are we speaking about? That looked like dominance to me. Okay, I'm just gonna put that up there so it can be seen for replay game. Once Inoue gets up to 126 and people find out that it's not going to be easy for him at 126. It's not. You think he goes in there and beats Robisa Ramirez right now? You think he goes in there and beat Robisa Ramirez? Here we go again, Juice. Hey, listen, Juice, man, come on, bro. Come on, man. Why every time y'all can I'm comparing, I'm speaking about Inoue, and y'all want to compare Inoue, who's at 122 right now, to a black fighter in a higher division. Does blacks run boxing? Do we run boxing? Y'all don't have no other fighter out here to compare to basically argue your point. You don't have no other fighter out here. It has to be other fighters, non-black out here for you all to compare. If it ain't Javante, it's Terrence. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it has to be other fighters. You can't tell me blacks is dominating the divisions all the way up. It has to be other fighters out here that you can highlight, bro. Y'all scared to mention Canelo? Huh? Or Canelo's resume too far in the clouds? Because if his resume too far in the clouds, why aren't y'all arguing the point like I mentioned earlier about why is he in front of Canelo on the pound for pound list? Why do people believe that it's comfortable for them to look at that and say it's okay? If you don't want to bring up Canelo so naturally as the first line of defense to argue your point, because you know that you cannot bring that into the equation. You can't bring that in for an argument when it comes to Canelo, but you do it for other black fighters. Why? I mean, what? Them the only ones popping your head? 122, 135. Who is talking about Javante right now? It's no other fighters. I mean, Javante's a 3-weight division champion. Pay-per-view numbers. I mean, y'all don't have no other avenue to take, no other twists and turns, no alleys, no crossing guards giving you directions. What the GPS is talking about? You know what I'm saying? What Google Maps is looking like? It's no other fighter that you can locate to prove your argument. What's going on, Thinkers Think? Nah, bro, I'm telling you the same thing I told you last night and others today. When you talk about and when you up here trying to say I don't like a certain fighter, I don't like a certain fighter. I never told you I didn't like Inoue. Y'all wasn't saying that when I was critiquing, Jamel Charlo. He's a black fighter. When I was critiquing Chris Colbert was overrated and he was a big mouth. Y'all wasn't saying anything about that. The ones who want to pick and choose what sentiments they bring out for discussion, those are the ones that's just passerbys, onlookers. They're not really the ones that sit in the chat and listen. I critique Teofimo Lopez. I rock heavy for Deontay Wilder. I don't see y'all bringing these other names of fighters, when y'all making an argument. Y'all just bring in the black fighters. Y'all want to say I don't like somebody. I don't like somebody. I told you I didn't like Charlo. That don't count. Or your argument, is that, oh man, you just saying that because you know what I'm saying, he's up there next to Crawford and you don't like Inoue. And then people say, oh, you just hating. No, it ain't no hating anything. Come on, man. Somebody can't go up here and basically talk boxing talk on a social media platform and disagree. I'm talking about me talking about Bud Crawford and Errol Spence for forever and a day, right? And then I switch it up and y'all all of a sudden want to say I'm hating. But I didn't get too many people to say, oh, you hating on Errol Spence every time I criticize him. I ain't hear y'all talking about I was hating on him because y'all didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't give a fuck. because he was a black fighter. Now I'm talking about a Japanese fighter. Y'all want to come to the rescue. Rally point at the OK Corral. We're going up here and we goddamn gonna let WCS give them peace for our goddamn country mine. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get her done. We're gonna prove to him that this Japanese fighter Naoya Inoue, he ain't off limits. My goddamn 45 revolver says that. What's going on, Jamal Neezy in the building? What's good with it? I always break pound for pound down as if everyone with the same height, weight, and size who have the best skills to win. Okay, for sure, for sure. I have to see what your channel is, man. Let me go over here right quick. Hold up for a second. Let me see if I can see your name over here. I can't even see your name over here. I have no problem going to somebody else's channel and check out what they do. You know, if you're giving breakdowns or whatever, I don't see your name over here on YouTube. Imagine that. What's going on here? What's going on? Shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxer Jazz, and more the OG in the building. What's good with it? If Inoue was the same size as, let's say, Canelo, retaining his skill set, who'd win? I think Inoue would crush him. I definitely disagree with that. I don't put Inoue's boxing IQ ahead of Canelo. Canelo's a very crafty, smart, technically sound fighter, man. There's no way. Size, we already know. I mean, okay, if that's your argument, Jameson, right? What happened when freaking Dimitri Bivol, who, you know, people really didn't want paying attention to, you know, prior to him stepping in there with Canelo, they thought Canelo was gonna move up there and pull off another Sergey Kovalev again, right? So he got beat, right? He got beat. And then when Gilberto Ramirez came in there looking like he was a goddamn heavyweight, right? Bivol beat the brakes off of him. He was bigger, way bigger than Bivol. They wasn't in the heavyweight division. They wasn't in the cruiserweight division. Yeah, they was light heavyweight, but they wasn't in the cruiserweight in the heavyweight division. So when you talk about size, that's just something that's you know, you're trying to forecast the moment. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to forecast the moment. You're trying to frame a moment, and it's all about imagination, of course. But you're taking performances that a person like Inoue has completed or put on display at lighter weight class, and you're taking him dominating okay opponents to basically saying, okay, if he was the size of Canelo, you're not basing any of that evidence off moments that you know that will match up to Canelo Alvarez. Everything that you're basing with Canelo Alvarez is based off him being in those freaking weight classes. You're trying to build up. You're trying to, fantasy-wise, you're trying to build up Inoue and place him in that imaginary freaking moment or era as if he was facing Canelo Alvarez and what he'd be able to do. Size don't bring on intelligence, man. It's some big dudes out here that just don't do anything. You know what I'm saying? There's some big people out, there's some big human beings out here that's really not the best at what they do when it comes to physical sports, athletics. So if you want to say, okay, I'm gonna take Inoue off these lower weight classes, I haven't seen him. And you're trying to say if he's the same size as Canelo, which is no criteria that you can base that shit off of. If he go up there and fight Canelo and they the same size, this, and this, he'll crush him. Come on, man. Come on, bro. You're trying to you said size. Let me reread your shit. If Inoue was the same size as, let's say, Canelo, retaining his skill set, who win? I think Inoue won. You're talking about same size, obtaining his skill set. Once again, what's truly his skill set? Has he been in there with somebody who you can say, damn, that was his ultimate matchup right there? We felt that person was greater than Inoue. Who's been that guy? Who's been that guy? Let's start with 118, 122. Who's been that guy? Who's been that guy? You can't say, well, if Canelo was the same size as Inoue down there, Inoue would crush him in his weight division. People are going to say, well, that'll be too much for Canelo because he fought much bigger weight classes, 47 on up and all this other shit. You're bringing a fantasy world, a sci-fi channel with all the film crew up with Inoue to say, hey, we're putting you right here on the movie set as if you're facing Canelo. No, this is not Creed. Okay, this is not Creed. Believe that. Believe that. This is not Creed. No, that is the closest you're going to come to reality if you was on a movie set and they was going off a script. Canelo will beat Inoue's ass, man. Canelo's IQ is top level. No, Bunch, you were saying dominating. You were saying looked like domination to me. Stick with it. You going off straight up framework. Oh man, let me clear my eyes a little bit. That shit right. Oh shit. Damn, the numbers up there, ain't it? Huh? Look like domination to me. Nigga been putting away some wins. Whew. Damn, I like this. It's easy. All I got to do is look at the freaking numbers on his resume and look at the knockouts. If the knockouts is in close proximity of the wins, we don't have no debate here. Look like dominance to me. On to the next. Look like dominance to me, goddammit. Boots has not fought any notable opponents. I guess no one wants to fight him. Thurman is saying Boots is not a draw. But he was talking about it looks like dominance to me. Shout out to Carlos Rosado in the building. What's good with it, Carlos? How you feeling, bro? No, don't confuse yourself there, you know. Don't confuse yourself. Don't confuse yourself with all these terms that you're trying to use. You're using circular logic on your supporters for disagreeing, bro. You're better than that. Explain what circular knowledge is. I would suggest you being a grown adult, I would suggest to you not to present terms, right? That 99, I would say 95% of the listeners don't have a clue what you're talking about. Explain yourself. Explain yourself. Give an example of what you're talking about when you say circular knowledge. Just don't freely put terms out here and sound like you're proving a point with high value commentary, and people don't know what you mean by circular logic. What is circular logic? Huh? If they was to look up circular logic or circular reason, would they even know what it means? I'm just saying. Let me explain to what he's talking about. When the end of an argument comes back to the beginning without having proven itself. So there has to have some fallacy in there. Pretty much what I'm debunking or what I'm debating, I'm basically grabbing a hold of what I believe to be frivolous, and I'm itemizing it, and I'm taking the end of it and I'm bringing it to the beginning to prove a point to say, okay, this is how I'm going to debunk what you just said initially. You know, like, don't be mad at me if I'm saying that Inoue has to be the same size of Canelo to go in there and beat Canelo. I'm telling you, you're bringing Inoue up to Canelo's world based off zero criteria of Inoue fighting outside of the 122-pound division. Zero. None. It's all imagination. It's all fallacy. From 22, from 26 on up is all fallacy. It's fantasy world. Animation. You say it pains you. It doesn't pain you, bro. You just playing because it doesn't pain you to think about that, because there's nothing that had brought you to a point to say that really, truly, in a way, is a challenge for Robeisy Ramirez. Now we have to say what opponents have in a way fought that reminds you of the talent of Robeisy Ramirez. And then you have to take that opponent, right? And then you got to look at how the fight played out between him and Inoue. And then if the value is high enough, you take that deductive reasoning and put Inoue up there at 126, which he haven't had no fights at 26, right? And you try to gather evidence on the side of Robeisy Ramirez to see if there's an opponent that has somehow been the common opponent of Naoya Inoue at 118, 122, that has since moved up, that you can kind of compare, and you take that evidence together, you know what I'm saying? You try to formulate a conclusion. And we know that's not the case in this scenario. It's simply not the case. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody that you can take that Robeisy Ramirez has fought that has fought Inoue to kind of say, okay, let's balance this out based off experience, the backstory, them stepping in the ring together. You know, it's just all based off prognostication. Let me just bring Inoue up here once again to Robeisy Ramirez, and I think he beats him now. It's hilarious. Come on, Blunts, it's hilarious, man. Nothing is going to cause you pain unless you've been invested in it. You haven't been invested in no Robeisy Ramirez. You haven't been invested in him like that to the point where you feel like a little stent in your chest. Oh my God, my heart. Oh shit. Can you give me some cold to drink? Oh my God. I'm just feeling a little wheezy. You can't compare Inoue to nobody else but Bud, because they're the only ones who are really about to become two-time undisputed and show dominance. Canelo, one-time undisputed, and has beaten Inoue, has been beaten. Inoue and Crawford ain't lost. You cannot just compare him to Crawford because he hasn't accomplished two-time undisputed. And this is not this. Blunts, you haven't been paying attention, brother. This has very little to do with the two-time undisputed. I say he's going to become two-time undisputed when he defeats Marlon anyway. I was talking about him being on the pound-for-pound list and who has he fought up to this point. What does that have to do with the pound-for-pound list? What does that have to do with comparing him to Crawford? Absolutely nothing. When you're talking about that logic, you're talking about pound for pound, undisputed, two-time undisputed. No, that's pending. That's imminent. That's pending. No, I'm talking about right here, right now, based off the competition that he's fought. Why is he exalted so high? Based off the competition that he's fought. Who's exalting his competition? Are y'all clapping it up for his competition? Were they the best competition ever? Were they killers themselves based off last minute replacements? Huh? Because when Yordenis Ugas got the call up and became WBA champion, was that what it was? I mean, come on. What, because Best Putin pop positive and they move freaking Ugas? Did y'all give him praise and high glory for becoming champion like y'all did Paul Butler? Because Paul Butler was the last equation for an undisputed fight with Naoya Inoue. Yeah. And people looking at him, oh yeah, he's dominating. He's dominating. He became undisputed at bantamweight. It was a weak undisputed run, bro. Point blank, period. It has nothing to do with Crawford. Period. It has nothing to do with Crawford. It don't have anything to do with him saying, okay, well, they're the only ones about to become two-time undisputed. That wasn't the preface. I said, Naoya Inoue, most overrated fighter on pound for pound list. That's what my title says. What great fighters has he fought? It said nothing about no two-time undisputed or Crawford. It said nothing about that. Zero. It's in clear phonetic text. Well, I guess you're not paying attention once again. I said, when you start compare or try to argue the point that I'm making and you bring in another black champion or black fighter, that's what I said. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Shout out to Toby Bartley. What's good? Salute WCS in the hottest chat on the YTC. We're global, baby. We're global. Sounds like the grease is hot, hot, hot tonight. Yeah, I'm you know what I'm saying? I had to splash some grease in my own chat, man. They are the hottest chat in the MF and game. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta, you know, engage with the chat like I always do. Tank doesn't sell without Ryan. Talking about shit that don't have anything to do with it. I'm not even gonna talk about it. It's talking about stuff that has nothing to do with anything, man. What are you worrying about? What are you worrying about numbers, man? What are you worrying about the numbers for? Why are you bringing in Javante and Ryan's numbers? Obviously, there's some miscommunication. If numbers are so-called a part of a fighter's, Wall Street in boxing, was numbers the start of my live stream when it came to Inoue? The only thing I said about Inoue is what numbers has he did. I said that shit last night. I said, what is his numbers? What makes him this top-notch guy based off his opposition? His pay-per-view numbers? But we have people grabbing hold of black fight. Well, you look at this black fighter right here. He's a champion, and hey, man, he ain't did that many numbers. What's making him this creme de la creme fighter? Is it his pay-per-view numbers because he's selling in Japan? We had people sold out 50,000. Yeah, I remember they used to say the same shit about Anthony Joshua, right? They used to sit up here and try to run this game on me. Oh, he sold out Wembley Stadium, 100,000 Wembley Stadium. You know what I mean? And then I said, that's not true. Joshua was in there with Vladimir Klitschko. The only other time he fought in Wembley Stadium was against a fighter called Jack. Okay, he didn't sell out no Wembley Stadium in there with a fighter called Jack Leg. But he went in there and brought those numbers because they went out and looked and brought Vladimir Klitschko out of retirement to the ring. One of the legends of the sport. That's all. That's all. But they talking about, in a way, he's selling out 50,000. He's putting up great numbers in Japan. I don't care about no alliance juice. You know the lines that y'all cooking up in the chat. Hey, Blunt, she doing great. You talking that man? Stop it. Stop it. Y'all are hilarious, man. Are you really reading? Are you really paying attention? That had absolutely partial to that really didn't have nothing to do with what I'm talking about. You said it's 2-time undisputed, show dominance. Canelo once undisputed has been beaten. Who cares? Canelo's resume still outweighs a lot of fighters. You know what I'm saying? It still outweighs a lot of fighters who he's been in there with, and you know his overall encompassing jacket, his portfolio as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? This conversation about Inoue didn't have anything to do with him. The preface was not him just going in there fighting Marlon. Nobody cares about that. He will be the second one. I said that he's going to be the second one. But I'm talking about all the other accolades to raise that value up to my argument on why he's where he's at. Why don't people criticize and critique his resume? It's not as good as you think it is. It don't has nothing to do with him being the second one, 2-time undisputed and all that. No, it's not it. I got these inner core alliances going on. Blunts, man, talk your shit, gang. I see what y'all doing. I see it. I see what y'all doing over here today. I see what y'all doing, man. I'm not sure why ESPN does not want to give Tank his due. Great question that W says. Why is Tank not on the pound for pound list? Hey, man. This pound for pound list is subject to its own interpretation. I don't know what the criteria is for this pound for pound list. I don't. No, you was putting up his numbers, his win and his knockouts. When do I do that without basically looking at the resume? You're saying look like dominance to me based off his wins and his knockouts. Don't try to link that up with what I said. I said, who is he dominating? His opposition. Was it a tough domination? Was it a fight? Not a tough domination. Was it a fight that we thought that was going to be tough in the beginning, but he ended up dominating like Crawford did Spence? Was it one of those? Do he have anybody on his freaking resume that was going into that freaking square and we said, man, this is going to be absolutely the very tough fight. We're going to see who's more durable, more resilient in this fight. I don't know if Inoue is going to be able to pull this. It's not nobody that you're going to look at like that. Who are you looking at like that? It's nobody. When you have people that's nobodies that you can say, nope, I didn't think he was going to be. No, I didn't think he was going to beat him. Nope, didn't think he was going to beat him. Nope. Saying he ain't dominating nobody. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's winning. He's basically carrying out what he's supposed to, period. Toby said, I really like watching Inoue. I have done since he KO'd Hammy McDonald. Hey, look, that's what I was trying to tell them. Nobody is remembering Hammy McDonald as being this great fighter there, Toby. You know, that was one of my points. Nobody's remembering him. And yeah, he knocked the man out in the first round, but nobody's remembering him. You know him. But a lot of these cats don't pay attention, have not paid attention to who Inoue has beat. Who went in, which fighters on his resume are saying, yeah, I knew this is going to be a tough fight for Inoue. No, they're going in there. Inoue going to win. Inoue going to win. Because that's where he at with it. That's where he's at with it. You know, some of his mediocre opposition People go in there and they say, "Oh no, it's no way that his opposition is gonna win. There's no way. It's not happening, bro." Hey, it's funny how word is coming out now that Anthony Joshua is over there with Errol Spence with Ben Davison, huh? But when I put it out, people didn't want to talk about it because they couldn't confirm it. Right now, it's filtering out that he's over there with Ben Davison. With Anthony Joshua training with Ben Davison. But when I put it out, people didn't want to talk about it because they couldn't do no verification. Now you're gonna see more and more people saying, "Oh, Errol Spencer's over there in the UK." I had people that leaving shit. "Oh, you putting out misinformation." Oh, come on now, listen. If I put out misinformation, I'm doing it on purpose. And if I'm doing it in rapid recession, that's because I'm pretty much fucking with you, the same person who's saying it. And that's not how I get down. I don't sit up here and just be impulsive and put out fake information like that. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how people wasn't even fucking with it. But the information's coming out now that Errol Spencer's over there with AJ. I got it. Yeah, Juice said I'm in the grease. Man, I swear, man, y'all was up there, goddamn, getting super soakers, soaking in the grease and squirting on everybody else. Dog. Y'all was trying to goddamn send hot grease my way. I said, okay, that's all good. It's good for freaking energy in the chat, man. I always respect people who stand up for themselves instead of them standing for nothing. Always, man. Stand up for yourself. And then you say, okay, yeah, I'm talking to grown ass adults. I get it. I'm speaking to grown ass adults. And then you think you're speaking to grown ass adults, and then they say, "Oh, you hating." I'm like, come on, man. We having a freaking conversation, bro. Everybody's not gonna agree with everybody. God damn, just because I change up my tone, damn, that's when I'm ad-libbing, I do the same shit. Damn, I can't damn play around and shit. Everybody's got to be serious. Tank been at 135 for almost 4 years. What champion has he fought at 135? Ask yourself that, Larry. I told you about asking questions without. Look, let me explain this to y'all. If you're trying to put question marks on the end, leave the question marks alone. Tank has been at 135 for 4 years, and these are the champions that he hasn't fought, or this is what he hasn't done. You asking me, I'm not going to entertain that unless bro, do your homework. Inoue ain't cleaning nothing, bro. That look, once again, you beating champions is who was the champion? Who was the champion? Period. Who was the champion? Who was the champion? Y'all didn't say that. Y'all didn't say that about anybody else. Who was the champion? If they fight for a vacant belt and win, then y'all give Sean Porter credit for that when he fought Errol Spence. Y'all gave Sean Porter credit for fighting Danny Garcia and defeating him, and then fighting Errol Spence, right? It was okay. So in order for you to be recognized as a champion, you got to fight champions. What about Devin Haney? Y'all wasn't sitting up here hopping up and down and say, "Oh yeah, Devin Haney, he fought George Kambosos. He was a champion." Now George Kambosos, he's a bum. He's a clown. Yeah, he beat Teofimo Lopez, but Teo wasn't totally healthy, and nobody, George Kambosos coming out 2 split decision wins. He really wasn't no true real champion. Well, he had all the belts though, right? Okay, I got it. He said, "I got heat resistant, burn proof suit." America is no longer the mecca of boxing. Let me see who's this right quick. Let me see who made this video. Oh, Blue Blood Sports. Okay. Let's see, 29 minutes ago, he just now talking about Anthony Joshua takes Errol Spence to the UK for training. But when I released it, he didn't want to talk about it. I hear you. I put the news out there. If they didn't do it first, they say, I ain't gonna talk about it. I'm gonna goddamn pout. I'm gonna wait a couple of days before somebody talk about it. I told people that Errol Spence was in the UK training. They was like, they try to put out to my, we seen Errol Spence. He's still in the States. He's still over here. Okay, I got it. Blunt say, I can survive these temperatures. Hey man, I'm about to put some shit on you. I'm curious of how you survive in these temperatures, man. Is the snacks and supplements? Are you taking the supplements that's available to the general public? Or are you talking about the ones that's behind closed doors, Juice? Come on, man. Come on. You taking the ones that behind closed doors and it's the hush hush, shit that nobody knows about? I just need to know, man. I just need to know. Because from what I hear, based off what's been put out here on YTC, the ones that behind the closed doors, it goes in the system different. You know what I'm saying? You get that powered up, you start turning colors, you're like, God damn, I feel strong. You start goddamn going from David Banner to the Hulk. Is that the shit you on? Because if you on that type of shit, I know you can't feel the temperatures. I seen the Hulk jumping volcanoes and come out that bitch, so I know you good. This is just hot grease, dog. Toby said Jack Leg. AJ was the undercard of Frotch versus Groves. 80,000 at Wembley. AJ versus two headlines was Klitschko and Povetkin, both sold out. That says, I'm sure that's correct. No. I'm talking about at the time when they was talking about Deontay Wilder and AJ. Okay. Their claim to fame was AJ was selling out Wembley Stadium. This has nothing to do with Povetkin yet. It had nothing to do with Povetkin. And Povetkin, from my understanding, him and AJ did not sell out Wembley Stadium as a no. From my understanding, they did not do the same numbers as AJ and Vladimir Klitschko. But when I was talking about was Deontay Wilder and AJ debate that was going on, and they love using, oh, well, Anthony Joshua sold out Wembley. He did not sell out Wembley with Jack Leg. No, he didn't. He didn't. He did great numbers with Vladimir Klitschko, but this was way before Alexander Povetkin when they stopped the talks and the WBA came out and talking about, oh, AJ has to face his WBA mandatory. His next opponent is going to be Alexander Povetkin. So the talks between him and Deontay Wilder is over. He must sign this WBA to face his mandatory, else he would be stripped of a massive fight with Alexander Povetkin. And that's when the talks dissolved with him and Deontay Wilder. And then you got the announcement that AJ has signed a 2-fight deal with Wembley Stadium. The first fight would be with Alexander Povetkin in September. And the next fight would be April the following year. I remember all that shit. But appreciate you, Toby, for dropping that info, man. Appreciate you, man. Real talk. Toby be dropping that info from across the pond. No doubt. Respect, man. I'm just curious of what else is going on in this chat with these goddamn insurgencies. I'm having a huge influx of insurgency today. Tank is a special talent, but he's not moving like Inoue. I really don't know why Larry is consistent with bringing in Tank's name to compare him or basically have some type of reinforcement to his argument. All I'm saying, Larry, is just do a little bit better than continue to bring in Tank. Tank is a 135 on pay-per-view doing great numbers, right? 3-weight division champion, right? I mean, I don't know why is that your infatuation with just continue to reach out and clinch the name Gervonta Davis. Why? Why are you doing that when it comes to Inoue? Why? You know what I'm saying? If people complain about him having a WBA at 35 and a WBA at 40, why is he in the conversation when Inoue is about to go, you know what I'm saying, and have his second undisputed fight at the end of this year, I believe, with Marlon Tapales? Why is he in the same conversation as Tank? Do you not like Tank? Do you not like Tank? I think you don't like Tank, man. No, we didn't. You don't speak for the people, Larry. You don't speak to the we. You don't speak to the we. Who made you the we founder, CEO? Who made you the mouthpiece of the we? Where's the consensus paperwork that the we has signed on and said, we grant you full permission to speak in our behalf? No one's going to say that, Larry. No one's going to say, oh, Fulton was a 50-50 fight, at least. No, you lost money on that fight because you didn't check with the people, the we. You know what I'm saying? You didn't check with everybody, the entire consensus in the boxing community, which is impossible. You just went off you, not even YOU, you, just the letter U. You went off yourself. That's it. You are self, yourself. I'm gonna leave that alone, Juice. If you saying he fought in the States, kudos to you. Kudos to you, because I'm not backtracking. I understand that, you know, people want to, you know, attempt to get WCS off his square, you know, but the hot grease is hot. I can't play around too often. Grease get cold if I start turning down the damn stove or whatever. You know, there's no reason why somebody should say, well, you know, he fought in the States. That has nothing to do with me. You weren't paying attention. You came in late, Juice. You came in late, bro. Tank is a two-time. You have unified with those junior varsity belts. Snack dealer is he direct plug, whatever you need. I can't understand how they used to say Devin was undisputed. Devin, I got that work. I just got promoted to the research and development division of Snack. For real. That's what's up, man. I'm consistent from site to site. I go at these fraudulent ninjas every day for the BS. Hey, Conquest is on the quest, man. These damn insurgents done came in the chat. I know, man. Some of my allies chose to basically cross enemy lines and become insurgency. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who's supplying them. They must be on the Snack product because they seem to have a little bit more energy today. But truth be told, some of them have came in late. They wasn't able to see the first half of the live stream. You know what I'm saying? That happens. Hit the replay gang, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hit the replay gang. That's all I'm saying. Hit the replay gang. It's not that difficult. But I'm off in a way. Hold on for a second. I want to listen to something right quick. Let me let you listen to something right quick, okay? This is Blue Blood talking on something. Check this out.
Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Ben Davison used to train him. Now Tyson Fury is with Mr. Stewart. Okay.
This has something to do with Errol
said,
Spence. We're not talking about Ben Davison with Tyson Fury.
Davis, but now it's being reported that Anthony Joshua is training with Ben Davison just to, you know, shake out. Not that he's parting ways with Derrick James, but he's just shaking out.
Anthony Joshua is shaking out.
Derrick James just had a fight last Saturday where he had his fighter, another high-profile fighter, and three-time junior middleweight world champion, the unified junior middleweight world, El Charlo. Now we got wind that former lightweight, now junior welterweight, Mexican-American superstar title contender, King Ryan Garcia, of Derrick James. So Ryan Garcia is, I don't know how much truth there is to this, but I don't have an issue with it.
Pay attention.
I think that Errol Spence should indeed explore as many options as possible to help prepare himself for a rematch with Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence was outclassed in every department. The speed department, Terrence Crawford was faster. The strength department, Terrence Crawford was stronger. The footwork, Terrence Crawford had better footwork. The jab, Terrence Crawford had better jab. Timing, Terrence Crawford had better timing. Accuracy, Terrence was dominated in the fight. But nonetheless, Errol Spence needs to have new things, new ideas. Not saying sometimes too many hands in the pot spoils the meal. But when
too many hands in the pot spoil the meal. Who? I thought Derrick James was the one with the hands in the pot. I thought Derrick James was the primary ones with the hands in the pot, right? What team does Errol Spence has? I mean, we just seen Jermell Charlo balling out after the fight and thanking his whole entire team. You seen like 10 motherfuckers up there, right? But who says it about Spence? Spence, how many hands are in the pot?
I am saying is there's no problem with Errol Spence exploring options. Something new, learn something different. Jermell Charlo, he brings in Guzman, okay? Spence understands.
Jermell Charlo doesn't bring in Guzman. He has Guzman. He doesn't bring in Guzman. If you check Blue, he said, let's not forget Derrick James. He was up there hugging Guzman before he was hugging Derrick James because that's a person that he's acclimated with and he's had around for quite some time now. He don't bring in Guzman, okay? If anything, he brings in Derrick James at a certain point in his freaking training regimen as of late, just like I mentioned about Brian Castano. He brings him in to do whatever because, you know, he was over there and Derrick had to beg for Mel Charlo to bring him back, to come back over there and let him train him. You know what I'm saying? So Derrick is not in Jermell Charlo's boxing life like people trying to insinuate. He said, let's not forget Derrick James. Look at the video. I can pull that up. Look at the video. He said, let's not forget Derrick James because he was working primarily with Guzman, man.
That changes have to be made. I applaud those things. Again, this is not to say that it's to be true. But if it were true, my thoughts, I don't have a problem with it. Going to the UK, let's say he's working with, because the report is he's working with Anthony Joshua introducing him Ben Davis. Ben Davis is helping him give some pointers. Ben Davis has helped many other fighters. He's helped Devin Haney, but he's.
See, there's only so much I can let you hear that because, certain people hear things from somebody like myself. They don't want to acknowledge it. So they come over here and they try their best to debunk or dilute or water down the actual moment. I'm not saying that it's true. Any other thing he say is true, but I don't want to say it's true. I don't want to say it's true. But you was sitting up here, you was adamant about telling Canelo Alvarez that Teddy Atlas said he was the worst. He's the most overrated, the overrated Mexican fighter in history. And then you had to come back over here and apologize. You know what I'm saying? But yet, when you hear this news of Errol Spence over there working with Ben Davison, you like, well, Ben Davis's work with who gives a damn what he's worked with? We want to be concerned though, him working with Errol Spence. What can Errol Spence learn from him working with this guy? You know what I'm saying? Anthony Joshua was working with Ben Davis. I don't think he left Derrick James. I think he's just shaking out. Shaking out? What do you mean shaking out? Fighters go up here and shake out when they're freaking losing and cutting weight or whatever. What do you mean? Fighters ain't going to another trainer to shake out. They're not going to another trainer to shake out. They're going to another trainer to actually get some work. You don't go to another trainer to shake out. This ain't fight week. You ain't just dropping a couple of extra pounds and going through the mid-training stuff to shake out. No, Anthony Joshua, man, he ain't stupid. Why people trying to hold on to Derrick James so much? This is another hammer to the head when it comes to my people. They want to hang around certain situations too long. They want certain people to hang around certain situations too long. That's pretty much not in the best of health for them. You know what I'm saying? But just stay there because they black. Just stay there because they black now. If Diddy James is not showing you, and he hasn't been able to prove Bomac wrong, who said no more hiding. But just stay there, man. Just stay there. Just stay there. Just stay there. You know, stay there. Derrick James, PBC, just stay there. They trying their best just to goddamn protect these people at the PBC, but yet when it's time to go under the bright lights, these big fights are not being won. Jamel didn't win. Errol Spence didn't win. Frank Martin looked bad. Let me see what else he has to say, man.
We know he's not Devin Haney's head trainer. Devin Haney had multiple. And Bomac responded by saying, yeah, I have a whole team because we can't do it by ourselves. And then look at the outcome, right? So it would be great for Errol Spence to have more eyes and ears. If he want to get some, pointers and tips from a fresh set of eyes and a fresh set of ears and lips, and they're telling him something different and just giving him, making it new, feel fresh, the more the merrier.
People just don't want to commit that to say Errol Spence, go over there and get a new trainer. Well, look, if I'm going over there, let's just say I go over there and I feel that Ben Davison is the person who I'm targeting to give me a different look. I'm going to get this training. Why am I going to go back to Derrick James for anything doing this fight? Why? If what I experienced in the fight that led me to go to Ben Davison to begin with, this is circular logic. This is what I was accused of, circular logic now. But it's not so much circular logic because I'm not picking up a fallacy, or maybe I am picking up fallacies. But anyway, I called it deductive reasoning, gathering my evidence. But if something happened to the point where Errol Spence went through the experience with Diddy James in the biggest fight of his career, and he was outclassed, outworked, outperformed, out everything. He was out of his O on his record. And then he chose to go over here to Ben Davison, get a fresh look, just to get a different sense of advice, you know what I'm saying? To have someone just analyze him as a fighter, just to get a different perspective on everything, and start to train, start to begin the training regimen, and start to listen and learn, remediate. Why would I go back to Derrick James? Why would I go back there and purge what I've just learned from Ben Davison? I wouldn't do that. People act like they're afraid to say that these fighters are leaving. Okay, let's see if Jermell Charlo next fight is with Derrick James. Let's see. Let's see is his next fight with Derrick James. Okay. Let me let y'all listen to something else, and then I gotta go. I really didn't want to. Let me see. I want y'all to listen to this right quick.
You know what, Mel? You made us proud. Exactly. All right? You made us proud. Hey, you got it. All right?
Hold on for a second.
I want to give a shout out to Lolene. You put a lot of work in with me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, boy, tight. Bird, Guzman, Luke. Like, y'all, like, pulling up to the gym, huh? Shy, everybody, we worked our ass off, so I'm trying my best to hold it together, but yeah.
Hold it together, man. Hold it together.
Derek, we can't forget the name, man. I'm just not a sore loser, so it just like affect me a little bit till I get a little tequila or something in me.
Oh, so you're drinking? Okay.
I never felt like I had such a big family. I felt y'all today. I heard y'all today. I understood my team. I was trying my best to push. You know, sometimes when you get in there, you're not as the man you want to be. But, you know, I wasn't going to just give up.
Well, you can see there's a lot of people in there that were supporting Jermell Charlo. I just wonder, with that many people around you, why do y'all go up here and just do certain things that just make you question if anybody even give a damn about what you say or somebody you can think about before you even say it? That's all. Like, you obviously have a support system of people. Well, maybe people who are getting paid to be there for you. And it seems like a good amount of people. I mean, that was a good group of people right there clapping it up. And that's good. And fighters should have that. I didn't see that with Errol Spence when he lost to Terrence Crawford. I didn't see that. Maybe that would have picked him back up. But it just seems like, hey, not everybody needs a large group of people to tell them, hey, yay, yay, yay. Hey, yay, yay, yay. You know what I'm saying? You can do it. Yay, yay, yay. You can. Everybody don't need that shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't need that shit. And once again, Jermell Charlo took that loss. And he was crying. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, brother. It is what it is. How do heavyweights shake out? They have no weight limit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to Shaw News, the front line of the UGK. You know what I'm saying? Shaw News, the Sox Experience, AK Showtime Shaw, Team Tucker Fisher on deck. And that's what I was trying to say, Showtime. He's up here talking about shaking out. He's just going over there. You taking a plane to go over there and shake out. That is not how the term is emphasized, bro. Come on, man. See, people just be saying shit after these people because it sounds cool. But damn, I'm not saying he ain't been to no fight. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying I've heard it before. It's never been to where a fighter is going over here to shake out. So-and-so is going over there to shake. I've never heard that mentioned before, bro. I never heard somebody going to another trainer and he's just going over there to shake out. No, man, come on. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? What are you telling these people? They're not going over there to shake out with a trainer all the way across the pond, nor is he bringing Errol Spence over there to shake out. You know what I'm saying? Look, this is a boxing trainer, not a strength and conditioning now. They weren't going over there to call up Blu-ray and say, hey, he went over there with Blu-ray to shake out. He going over there with Blu-ray to shake out. I could tell you a moment where I've seen several shakeouts. I seen Jahad Tucker, you know, goddamn trying to freaking shake out, trying to knock those pounds off. You know what I'm saying? I seen Nikolai Poptov shaking out. We seen Shakur Stevenson trying to shake out and drop those pounds. I mean, hey man, that was improper terminology for the moment. That's all. But shout out to the UJK on deck, man. Great work. Y'all be sure to check out Shaw News, the Sauce Experience, man. Shout out to your fam. You know what I'm saying? Doing big things, man. That's what I'm trying to say, Toby. Man, shout out to Toby, man. See, it's good to have a window, a lifeline, a freaking a method of communication across the pond, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the international information system. You know what I'm saying? The transmission of communications back and forth. I appreciate the info you're dropping, bro. Diddy James taking advice from Ben Davison? Question mark. Come on, please. Ben Davis has a world-class ship to work here. Diddy doesn't even have AC. Oh my God, that shit is hot grease, man. That shit is goddamn hot grease with some motherfucking petroleum in that bitch. Some jet fuel. Yeah, he was emotional once again, man. You know what I'm saying? He was emotional. I mean, come on, bro. You ran. And you and Danny Garcia was feeling the same type of guilt, nigga. For real. Danny Garcia had a breakdown at 154 because he got them through the fight at 147. Period. You had a breakdown because you had the biggest fight of your career at 168 and you ran around the ring and you was afraid for your life up in that mug. And you wanted to get in there in front. It sound like a goddamn Tyrannosaurus Raptor and shit, man. A newborn at that, you know. Sounding like goddamn Billy Goat. Just hit the ground for the first time, smelling the air. And a goddamn find out a line's right there. Hey, I'm gonna let you breathe just a little bit more. I'm about to eat. I don't want you to never be able to know what it's like to be in this world. You almost finished? Because I'm hungry. I'm serious, man. What are we doing? What are we doing, bro? I don't even play video games because I don't like to lose, bro, man. But well, if anyone has unsubscribed because I'm talking to Inoue, well, they wasn't here to begin with for the correct purpose. You know what I'm saying? Inoue, to me, I will pay attention to his career as it continues to move. You know, when I said that Vasyl Lomachenko was freaking overrated before he took his second loss, I get no credit for that. I said, hey, Lomachenko was overrated. What did he do? He lost to Teofimo Lopez in Teal's 15 professional fight. You know what I'm saying? That was his time to shine. But yet, what he do? He put out pictures of his shoulder being messed up and said the judges was paid off. Overrated, bro. The whole thing, overrated. I ain't saying he can't fight. I'm just saying, bro. No, I'm just saying. Hey, man, y'all hold it down. Appreciate y'all once again for pulling up. We definitely gonna come back with the hot grease. And appreciate the chat. You know what I'm saying? Every Sunday is not gonna be sunshine. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some people here acting up. But you know, the ones who was putting up the resistance in a way that was freaking conducive to boxing knowledge, cool. The one who come over here and really don't pay attention to the channel, and just because I'm talking about something and say I'm hating on something, hey man, I love penalty kicks. I love the football game. For real, I ain't gonna lie to you. I perform penalty kicks, and people don't know it. I'm even performing those penalty kicks. For real, like I'll let somebody stay in the chat as long as they talking about boxing. But when you start talking about hating and you putting out misinformation and all this other bullshit, I'm like saying to myself, dude, you over here for the wrong reasons. It's beyond me that you even in my chat. That's all I'm saying. But shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game, man. Appreciate y'all. A-Side Official. Till next time, man. Y'all hold it down. I'm out. Peace.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss. Now you counting stars. Should've practiced more. Should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come.